I was thinking about why so many in the radical left participate in speedrunning. The reason is the left's lack of work ethic. Go fast rather than do it right. And in a Petersonian sense, to elevate the alternative sexual archetypes in the marketplace, fastest Mario. Obviously there are exceptions to this, and some people more in the center or right also speedrun. However, they more than sufficient to prove they more than sufficient to prove the rule rather than contrast it. Consider how woke GDQ has been, almost since the very beginning. Your eyes will start to open. Returning to the topic of work ethic, a speedrunner may well spend hours a day at their craft, but this is ultimately a meaningless exercise, since they will ultimately accomplish exactly that which is done in less collective time by a casual player. This is thus a waste of effort on behalf of the speedrunner. Put more simply, they are spending their work effort on something that someone else has already done, and done in a way deemed correct by the creator of the artwork. Why do they do this? Well, the answer is quite obvious if you think about it. The goal is the illusion of speed and the desire, subconscious, to promote radical leftist borderline communist ideals of how easy work is. Everyone always says that speedruns look easy, but that's part of the aesthetic. Think about the phrase fully automated luxury communism in the context Think about the phrase fully automated luxury communism in the context of speedrunning, and I strongly suspect that things will start to click in your mind. What happens to the individual in this? Individual accomplishment in speedrunning is simply waiting for another person to steal your techniques in order to defeat you. Where is something like intellectual property or patent in this necessarily commutarian process? Now, as to the sexual archetype model and speedrunning generally, if you have even a passing familiarity with Jordan Peterson's broadened oeuvre and of Jungian psychology, you likely already know where I am going with this. However, I will say more for the uninitiated. Keep this passage from Maps of Meaning, page 91, in mind. The archetypal sun continually reconstructs defined territory as a consequence of assimilation of the unknown, as consequence of incestuous, that is, sexual, read creative, union with the Great Mother. In other words, there is a connection between sexuality and creativity that we see throughout time, as Peterson points out with Tiamat and other examples. In the sexual marketplace, which archetypes are simultaneously deemed the most creative and valued the highest? The obvious answer? Entrepreneurs, like Elon Musk and others. Given that we evolved, and each thing we do must have an evolutionary purpose or cause, what archetype is the speedrunner engaged in who is accomplishing nothing new? They are aiming to make new sexual archetype based upon speed rather than doing things right, and refuse ownership of what few innovations they can provide to their own scene, denying creativity within their very own sexual archetype. This is necessarily leftist. The obvious protest to this would be the glitchless 100% run, which, in many ways, does aim to play the games as intended, but seems to simply add the element of speed to the equation. The objection is ultimately meaningless when one considers how long a game is intended to be played, in net, by the creators, even when under 100% conditions. There is still time and effort wasted for no reason other than the ones I proposed above. By now, I am sure that I have bothered a number of you and rustled quite a few of your feathers. I'm not saying that speedrunning is bad, but rather that, thinking about the topic philosophically, there are dangerous elements within it. That is all. An addendum for the fools. Oh my, I wake up from a nap to a huge amount of triggered leftists in my notifications. I will address some of the criticisms here. Yes, I said rustled instead of ruffled. That's a typo. Sorry. Peterson is a thinker, and it is fine to cite him. I am not sorry for that.
Yes, this critique also applies to physical sports. They are also nonsensical, but also not adding new sexual archetype into the world since it had already been introduced and is already negative. The sports star.
Evolution exists and influences our behavior. I have been linked a video by Hibamber guy? That's probably it. Which made many of the same points as me, but did so while being a radical leftist, and he was celebrated. I, meanwhile, brought in a contemporary philosopher who is more of a centrist and was ridiculed. This confirms my argument. Checkmate, leftists.